Welcome to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. We've had a subscriber send a strategy over. It's called Baker's Dozen. Got a $600 buy-in. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so Randall sent this strategy over to me. He said he had seen it over on Todd Hoover's channel on YouTube, and it's called Baker's Dozen. And he says it's a $400 buy-in, but I'm thinking we're probably going to need to go $600 with it because it's betting 13 numbers and it's using the Fibonacci sequence to play it. And the way, I'm just going to show you real quick before I do my buy-in, I want to show you kind of the layout of what he's talking about. Okay, so according to the channel and according to what his strategy is showing, that the wheel spins, the ball drops, let's say it lands on 15. What he does is he bets 13 chips. Okay, so there's 13 chips right there. Now, the rule is a minimum of 5 numbers on the first column, a minimum of 5 numbers on the third column, and a minimum of 1 number on the middle column. So, for instance, if it lands on 15, the way he starts his bet is he covers at least 5 numbers. Okay, so he alternates. So he hit this street here, so then he starts betting on these streets beside it, and then he alternates. Okay, so there's 5 and 5. Okay, now you can go 6. It's a minimum of 5, but the 6 is fine because then you have every other number bet on those particular streets. Okay, so we could go 5, and then you can bet 3 numbers here in the middle, or you could go 6 and bet 1 number in the middle. So it's just according to how you want to run the strategy. He has no set betting method that he uses that I can tell. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet it just so everybody can kind of understand the way I'm going to bet the strategy. So if it lands on 15, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet heavy to the high side of the table. Okay, so I'm going to start this direction here, and I'm going to go that way, and I'm going to go 5 numbers. Okay. So does everybody see kind of what I'm talking about? This is how I'm going to bet the strategy, and then I'm going to alternate pretty well in the middle of the board or the table here. It's kind of the direction I'm going to go with my 3 numbers in the middle. So I'm betting 5 on the first column, 5 on the third column, and 3 numbers in the middle. But I'm going to try to keep it here in the middle of the table as best I can. The difficulty with this strategy is you rebet the exact same numbers every single time. So if it lands and it loses, well then you have to remember, where did I have my bets placed? Okay, so that's going to be the struggle with keeping up with this strategy, because every time the table is raked in a real game, you've got to rebet all 13 numbers. And then you also have to bet the Fibonacci sequence. So the Fibonacci is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Okay, I'm going to buy in for $600 because that $600 allows me to go up to 8 chips per number. That's going to be as far as we can go with it. I can't see any reason to go in for much higher than that. If I wanted to go 21 chips on every one, I would have to buy in for right at $1,500. Okay, so we're going to say $600. So let me get it set up. I'll be right back. Okay, so I bought in for $600. So I've got $400 in colored chips. These are $2 chips. And then the normal procedure when you're buying at the table, they're not going to give you $600 worth of colored chips. So they give you colored chips, and then they'll give you cash value chips. So they gave me 2 black chips. That's $100 a piece. So there's $200. There's $400 and $600 there. And to make it a little easier for everybody to keep up and for me to keep up, I'm going to use a pink chip to mark my number. Okay, so here we go. We're going to establish our first number. And of course, you won't be able to do this at the table, but it will help if you could figure out a way to mark your number. So it's kind of like betting neighborhoods. You got to kind of go with it, and you got to bet the same numbers every single time, okay? All right, so 13 is our number. All right, so we're going to take 13 chips. All right, so there we go. So we have 13 chips here. So now we hit on the low side of the table. So I'm going to go this direction with it. And that's 4. Okay, there's 5. We're going to leave this pink chip here the entire time, okay? And then I'm going to bet my 3 numbers right there. So there we go. Our first number is established. Now this strategy is not going to be one that's going to be a like a playing for comps kind of deal. This is going to be kind of see if we can get into profit a little bit. We might need to set a walk away. All right, 36. Okay, so there's a win there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take this off here. All right, that pays 35 to 1. So there is 20. There's 40. So 35 right there. All right, we're going to clear the table. And we're going to reestablish a new number. All right, so the new number is 9. All right, so here we go. So we're going to bet 13 numbers again. All right, so we hit on this end of the table. So we're going to go heavy to the high side of the table. And then we're going to, let's lean it this way a little bit. So let's go 8, 14, 20. Okay? Yeah, because this is only a $26 average to start the strategy. And it goes 26, 26 again, and 52, 78. So it's kind of all over the place. And we hit 9 again. All right, so let's not rake it. We're not going to rake it. We know it's 13 chips lost. Okay, so there's our 13 chip loss right there. And we're staying at this level because Fibonacci is 1, 1, and then we'll go to 2. Okay, 29. All right, that's a loss. So we know we lost 13 chips again. Okay, so there's that 13 chip loss right there. But we're got to take them up to $2 or 2 chips each. And remember, we're sticking to the same numbers because 9 was the number that we started the cycle with. I think this is spin number 5. So I'm not going to count the spin where we established the number. So these are actual spins that I've had money on the table. Okay, 18. All right, there's 18 with 2 chips on it. Okay, so there's 2 chips on there. Let's pull this pink one here, get it out of the way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pay this with cash chips right now. Because that's going to be, that'll be 70 chips. Well, we got enough to pay it with 70 chips. Let's just pay it with color chips. So 20, 40, 60. And there is 70 chips right there. All right, bringing that all back to our rack. And we're going to go ahead and establish a new number. Clear the table. Refill our rack. Okay, 16 is our number. All right, so there's 13 chips. So we're going to go heavy to the this end because we hit on the low side of the table. And then let's go 17, 23, 29. Okay, so there's our 13 numbers. And here we go. So I think we need to establish a walk away for this one. I'm going to say probably, let's say, we're going to say $200. We're going to say $200. Okay. Okay, 30. All right, that's a miss. So that is a 13 chip loss. All right, we'll just take that over there. All right, 11. All right, that's a miss. So that's another 13 chip loss right there. And then we've got to go up to 2 chips each. Let's see, let me keep these right here separated so we can kind of see what bet we should be on. Okay, 0. Okay. So that's going to be a 26 chip loss. So there's 20. Okay, 26 chips right there. And we got to go up 1 chip each now to make it 3 each. Okay, 35. All right, so that's a miss there. So let's rake it. So 17, 23, 29 was our middle numbers. If I can remember to do that. Now we have to go to 5 chips each. All right, so there we go. Now we're at 5 chips each on the baker's dozen. And with this bet, we're at $130 on the table right now. All right, so 13 was a number. Okay, 70, so it's 140. So now we need 175 chips is the payout on this. All right, so there is $175 paid out. So let's rack it and let's see where we're at. We're shooting for that $200 profit for this strategy. So there is 40. Okay, so anyway, so here's our even right here. So here's our profit, 40, 80, 120, 130. Okay, it's only 134. Okay, so we haven't met that $200 profit yet. So let's reestablish a new number. Okay, new number is 2. So we're going to put the pink chip there. Now we need 13 chips. All right, there's 13 chips. And we hit real hard over on the left side of the table. Let's go ahead and lean it this way. I know I said I would go the opposite, but it seems to be liking this end of the table. So now I have 3 chips left over. Got 5 and 5. Let's go 20, 14, and 8. Okay. All right, 13 numbers. All right, this starts this new cycle here. Okay, 0. Okay, there's our 13 chip loss right there. Okay, 17, that's a loss. So there's that 13 chip loss right there. Now we're going up 1 chip each. All right, so we went from a $26 average to now we're at $52. All right, 3. All right, that's a loss there. All right, we know that's a 26 chip loss right there. Okay, so there's 26 chips right there, and we're going to go up 1 chip each again to make it 3 chips on each. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. The number 10 hit. Okay, so there's 3 chips on there. So that'd be 70 plus 35 would be 105. All right, let's bring it all back to the rack, see where we're at. We're looking for that $200 profit. Okay, so we're at 40, 80, 120, 160. So we're at 168. And it took 4 spins to get that win right there. All right, let's reestablish another number. We're looking for that $200 profit still. We're almost there. If we can get 1 hit, an early hit, I think we'll be good. All right, so 3 is our number. We'll go ahead and put the pink chip there. And we need 13 chips. Okay, so we're gonna lean it this way further. Okay, so it would go here, then it would skip 1, okay? All right, so there's our 5. And now we have 3 chips left over, so let's go 14, 20, 26. And hit 3 again. All right, so that is a 13 chip loss. Spin it again. All right, 30. All right, so that pays 35 chips right there. Okay, there's 35 chips. Let's bring it all back to our rack. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so we're at 40, 80, 120, 160, 170, 180, 188. We are $12 short. All right, let's go again. Reestablish a new number. All right, 17's the number. Put the pink chip there. All right, so let's see, let's lean it this way. All right, so here we go. We got 5 numbers and 5 numbers, and we're going to go 23, 11. Let's go ahead and go 17. So we're going to put that orange under that pink right there. Okay. Okay, 6. All right, that's a loss of 13 chips. There they are there. Okay, 20. That's another 13 chip loss right there. Now we're going to take it up to 2 chips each. Okay, 18. That is a 26 chip loss. All right, now we have to take it up to 3 chips each now. All right, here we go. Okay, 2. All right, let's rake it. So 11, 17, 23. All right, now we got to go up to 5 chips each. All right, so here we go. So all right, here we go. All right, 15. All right, so that's a win right there. All right, so 5 chips on there. That is 175 chip win right there. So here we go. No, we're a little bit short on that. So let's pay it this way. We're going to pay it in cash chips because I think we just got into profit. Okay, so that's 5 chips on there. That should be 175 $2 chips, which would make it $350 cash chips. So we're going to just pay those with cash chips. All right, there we go. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so we started with $600, so there is $200, $300, $400, $500, $600. There is $200. Not quite 200. So there's 100, 150, 160, 70, 80, 90. There is $200 right there. So $236 profit with the Baker's Dozen strategy. In total, we went 20 spins. So 20 spins with the Baker's Dozen strategy using the Fibonacci sequence. I don't know what to say about this strategy. It seems like it works, of course, but if you get on a bad run, it can get real expensive really fast, I guess, but it worked out for us this time. Let me know what you think in the comments. For comp value, this would be a tough one for me to rank it because it's not really a comp strategy. This is more of a chase and profit kind of strategy. So for comp value, I'm probably going to give it a 3. Just because it starts low, but then it changes, so it could give you a high comp value or it could stay low. With as much money as you have at risk, you would hate to have your comp value, your comp rating be at $26 and you have, $150, $200, $300 out on the table, at any given time. So as far as comp value goes, probably a 3. Profitability, we're in profit $236. So profitability, I'm going to give it a 4 on profitability. There's chance of getting some profit out of this strategy, but it could always go the other direction. Just with any strategy, there's no guarantee. But for this one here, it worked out for us. I've run this strategy a couple times already. There was one time I completely went broke. But that's how it's going to go with any strategy. So 2 of the 3 times I've ran it, I've been in profit. So there is possibility there. I'd have to go through a few more sessions to really verify it. As far as ease of setup for this strategy, this is a tough one. This is really tough. I raked the table a couple of times just to kind of show you guys that raking the table and then resetting it It would be a lot of work to run this strategy. So ease of setup for this strategy is probably going to be a 2, because it's tough to follow without writing something down, and then it getting raked every time, and then you having to remember, where did I have my 13 numbers bet? Because you're not betting the exact same numbers every single time. So I would have to write something down in order to play this strategy, or you could just play it and play 6 bets on the outside columns. So instead of doing 5, like if it hits 15, you bet 6 numbers. Okay, so if you were to bet 6 numbers, you could kind of remember that, because you would know I start over there and come this way, and then I have 1 chip left over. So which number would I put it on? That could help with the setup on this, but it's kind of difficult to keep it the same every single time if you're trying to cover 3 numbers and your 3 numbers keep changing or not. Now, if you set 3 numbers, it will make it a little easier, of course. So anyway, so there it is. There is the baker's dozen strategy that Randall sent me over, that he had seen over on Todd Hoover's channel. It's just one of them strategies that when you play it on a simulator game or something like that, it's easy to hit rebet. Okay, but for playing it on the real table, it could get a little confusing. But it's got potential. Okay, all right. So if you have a strategy you would like me to test out, send it to me at roulettecruising@gmail.com. We're looking for a $300 to $400 buy-in. I'll try to get it to go 20 to 30 spins is my typical. I'll try to get a couple sessions out of it and see how it goes. But send it to me. I'm always looking for something new to share with you guys and share with the other people that's on the channel here with us. And so anyway, so until next time, happy cruising. And be sure to like and subscribe to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. We'll see you. Bye.